Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Overdrive Files. We've got some DC updates to get caught up on here. First up, Ray Fisher tweeting as he does. But here's a tweet from, I think, a couple days ago, or maybe it was just yesterday. I don't praise Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder for simply putting me in Justice League. I praise them for empowering me, a black man with no film credits to his name, with a seat at the creative table and input on the framing of the stones before there was even a script. Hashtag Borg life. Then Zach replied, "You, Ray, are the heart of my movie." We've heard that Zach tweet put on Vero that Cyborg is the heart of his cut of Justice League. That's not really news to anyone, but him, I guess Ray letting us know and thanking Zach that he was involved in the creative process from the beginning. Like he said, he was an actor with no film credits to his name. I think at the time he was doing a lot of stage production stuff. I don't know if it was Broadway or what, but Justice League was his first feature film. A lot of hype leading up to that movie, and imagine being him. This is your first feature film, and it just completely crumbles and disintegrates into this Frankenstein of a monster. But I mean, from what we got from the theatrical version, I mean, we could complain about it all day, but one of the things taken away from that, which I thought was kind of one of the better elements of it, was Ray Fisher. Just his acting had some gravitas. He was definitely the best actor in the Whedon cut. I'm excited to see Zach's version because we're going to see, a performance by Ben Affleck that he's probably giving a shit in this version, where all the Joss Whedon reshoots, he was, it must have been a nightmare for the guy having to shoot all these different dialogue scenes, and his character kind of turned into a joke during the Heroes Park sequence, and it's just completely turned into a mess. But it's just nice to see that Zach and Chris Terrio brought Ray Fisher in to the creative table, kind of developing the sort of family elements of the Stones. And I just think that's totally awesome. But moving on here, this is from MovieWeb, but there's a little bit of news, I guess, kind of a little bit of a statement from HBO Max's head of original content here. But this headline here: releasing the Snyder Cut is already a successful move, says HBO Max head of content. So if you scroll down here, ever since it was revealed that Zack Snyder's Justice League was going to be released next year on HBO Max, a debate has been sparked about how this will change the fan expectations of the director's cuts of existing movies. During an interview with Sarah Aubrey, HBO Max's head of original content, she was asked whether other filmmakers will demand similar treatment, and had this to say. I don't worry about it opening up a Pandora's box. It's not going to be one size fits all. As for the Snyder Cut, I think it's already a success given the press we've had around it. Absolutely. I mean, they had to have known that it was just going to be something that dominated the internet for it's still dominating, Twitter and social media and all these comic book centric news sites. Everybody's still talking about this thing, and it probably won't stop until, well, I guess even when the movie comes out, everybody's going to be talking about it, whether it's going to be the biased bloggers and movie critics that have these whatever agenda against Zack Snyder and his movies. They're out there, and they probably already have their review typed up, uploaded to their news site server, and they just have to hit public or publish it. So that's kind of how it is. But I mean, yeah, it's dominating at least the comic book fan news sites, and I think we're just going to continue to see more and more press about this thing, especially once we start getting a trailer, and it's been kind of hinted at that we might be getting one around San Diego Comic-Con which is just, I don't know, a handful of weeks away. So it's right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. But next up here, we have some release the Ayer cut news. So this is from Harley Quinn Updates on Twitter. And this is a new image. I don't remember if David Ayer tweeted this out or if he put it on his Instagram. I probably should have done my research. But this is definitely from the end of the movie where Joker and his crew, you know, they're dressed up in like police uniforms or prison guard outfits. You can kind of see like the prison bars of Harley's cell there. But a black and white image. He's kind of following suit of Zack Snyder, which is pretty awesome. And it's just amazing like how much David Ayer has been sort of publicly talking about Suicide Squad and just putting new information out there. There was some stuff about Jeff Johns added. I think it was in like in Harley's like in Suicide Squad, how they list all the stats when they introduce all these characters. I think it was that that Harley killed Robin, which contradicts some stuff in the DCEU, especially with Joker's damage tattoo. So, I mean, even kind of throwing shade, David Ayer throwing shade at Jeff Johns. I mean, he's just being really vocal. And, you know, I don't know if talks are being had behind the scenes, but I mean, I'd imagine there's got to be some way they can get this done. I think it's all just going to be a matter of time, you know. I don't know if they might just be waiting for Zack Snyder's Justice League to come out on HBO Max and see how that does. But then again, like David Ayer's Suicide Squad, it's going to require a lot less money, a lot less time, a little bit of visual effects, I think he said, and probably a little bit of time in the edit bay to kind of, you know, put the final touches on things. But I mean, let's get it going, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, I really want to see David Ayer's Suicide Squad, but I think it's just going to be a matter of time. I don't think it's going to come out, you know, in the next year or two, maybe. So I think we'll just have to be patient, but nothing wrong with being supportive and, you know, tweeting about it online. But moving on after that, this is some weird news that I saw. And like I had a live stream, I think it was Friday night I did, and I talked a little bit about this. But I mean, I guess not necessarily about this, but like there's so many Batman villains, and I feel like there's only like 4 or 5 that they just will keep in rotation. You know, we've seen Joker, we've seen the Penguin, Catwoman's not really a villain or anything like that. She may have been in the comics, but I mean, kind of like an anti-hero, but I don't know. I just feel like there's only like 4 or 5 that seem to be, especially like what we've seen in the Nolan trilogy recently, and like Matt Reeves' Batman is sort of like kind of in the same vein, sort of, at least what we've seen from like set photos and interviews that him and some actors have done, is that it's kind of going to be a little bit more realistic in that same vein as like the Nolan stuff. And I mean, we saw Bane and Batman and Robin, and I threw that graphic at the bottom right there. You know, I kind of like Batman and Robin, like for all of its campy reasons. But I mean, I'm just not really down to see Bane yet again. You know, it's just, I don't know. But we get into this article, and I think this is all coming from Humberto Gonzalez from Heroic Hollywood. Like, I'm starting to get sick of talking about that guy, but I think it may have been another one of his like editorial videos. But just this quote down here: "A potential project for the villain would have been a much more serious vision on the big screen after the surprise success of Joaquin Phoenix's award-winning Joker, Heroic Hollywood has exclusively learned that there was going to be an attempt to pitch a Bane standalone film to DC executives. So it's not like there was a planned Bane movie. There was a planned pitch. So it's like somebody was prepping or thinking about pitching a Bane DC movie. And I mean, like, I don't think Bane's the character to do that with. I mean, thinking about other villains, I would much rather see like a Mr. Freeze. I'd be down to see a Mr. Freeze standalone movie. You know, all the stuff with his wife and like McGregor syndrome, and I don't know. I just think that could be really interesting, like trying to find a cure and like what will you do in order to save your loved one, your wife. I think that would be a lot more interesting. But I don't know. A little bit more of a quote down here, continuing on. In a similar way to the Todd Phillips film, it could have offered a filmmaker a chance to explore the villain's psyche with a character study, although hopefully with a little bit more brawling. Much like Joker avoided leaning on the cape and cowl too much, it's possible that Bane's solo film would not have featured the iconic hero. Probably not. And I think like if you're going to do a standalone like villain DC movie, I think it'd be a more interesting approach to kind of leave the accompanying hero out of the film and just kind of like focus on the character. And you can kind of like, like how Joker, Bruce was in the movie as well as like Alfred, but like it's not like they were a focal point in it or anything like that. I mean, you had Thomas Wayne in there, but I mean, I thought the way Joker did it was the proper way. And not that every like DC villain movie needs to follow suit like that, but I just thought that was an interesting approach, and I thought they did it a really good job. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the news or updates. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, hit that like button. And yeah, looking forward to Zack Snyder's Justice League in the near future. Hopefully we get a trailer pretty soon. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rex Overdrive. I'll see you next time.